Aaron Burnett Out Front, weeknights at 7, only on CNN.
In a case so inflamed by racially charged opinion, it was almost impossible not to notice the young African-American woman on George Zimmerman's otherwise all-white defense team. Shauna LIoyd tells me she had just one question for attorney Mark O'Mara.
I asked him, I said, is George a racist? And he said no. He said I wouldn't work for him if he was.
And why was that so important to you?
Being African American, even if he was a client in need of representation, I don't know that I would have been able to divorce that. And you have to have the proper representation and people who can do that.
If you find LIoyd's involvement in the defense of George Zimmerman surprising, you might be even more surprised to find out she's a volunteer, working for free. Shauna LIoyd is a third-year law student in Orlando, a 34-year-old intern working a case of a lifetime.
Have you had to explain what you're doing to any of your friends?
Sure. Some of my friends debate with me all the time about it.
What do they say?
Some of them think, doesn't matter, he's guilty. Some of them say, well, I'm willing to hear the evidence. They span the range.
Observations span the range online as well. Most are just curious. Who is she? Why is she there?
Kind of what our position is, what our role is. Am I only there because I'm black? Those kinds of things. I've seen more curious questions than anything.
But some comments are clearly judgmental and personal.
Now, there was one that caught my eye, this tweet. Black woman seated with Zimmerman defense team is on wrong side of the courtroom and wrong side of history. What would you say to that person?
I would say that they're not really aware of what history is. If they think that this is a completely racial issue, I would tell her to go back, or him or her, to go back and revisit the case. I think it's misplaced.
Is this case about race?
I don't think the case is about race. I think that was the way it was presented initially, and I think that might have been erroneous.
In the courtroom, for the most part, she sits silently in the background with other interns. For the last year, though, LIoyd's provided research and support, spending long hours and getting to know George Zimmerman.
Is he a racist?
No.
How do you know? How did you come to that opinion?
Can just kind of tell. I've been African American, you encounter people who are racist, and I just know that he's not.
And at the end of this trial, LIoyd sees only a beginning, the beginning of a career in criminal defense.